Jumping to 4.7, starting a paragraph, you can just ignore etonym at the beginning. In this monastery, plurus signa, many signs of this virtue and valour being done, portrayed, which were for memory or the edification of those people who were following on from this lot, who they knew, they were known by many people, descriptions of these signs, I guess, which are known by these people, from which we also, we've taken care to insert something of this into our ecclesiastical history. Cum, when this tempest, storm, often the storm of this said disaster, had depopulated or ravaged everything far and wide, and even this part of the monastery in which the men were held or living, this tempest had invaded or ravaged there, and everywhere daily people were being raptured off to the Lord. The anxious mother of the congregation in that hour, even when it afflicted that part of the monastery, where a caterva, that's like a big band of the maidens of the Lord, were from the secret rooms of the men, was differentiated this place where the women were from where the men were. This plaga, we'll take that as a, I don't know, pestilence maybe. Some disaster anyway, up there it was a disaster. Rather frequently, this caterva, this band, began to inquire in the conventu of the sisters, so that's like the rectory or the bedrooms of the nuns or whatever, where they ought to be placed in the monastery, the bodies of the dead, I'm guessing, and they wanted to happen that a cemetery should be built or something for these, in the same extermination of which the rest of the people had been raptured off or killed when this happened, where they would go from the earth. Okay, so basically an English version was from that bit there. Looks like there's a major mother or nun who's in charge, group of the maidens of the Lord. When this same disaster touched them, they were asking where should all the bodies be put, and so it looks like a major plague or something. And when nothing of a certain response she received from the sisters, although here's a little clause, she was inquiring rather often, she accepted herself and with all of them this most certain response of the provisional response from the looks like the heavens, maybe she's hearing the voice of God or something. And when in this certain night, when they had expleted or finished their psalms, matutino is early morning, so it's still dark, it looks like. Still dark and it's early morning, and they're doing their praises of these psalms. Someone's egressed, it's the femula of Christ, the nuns are servants of Christ. They went out from the place of the oratory where they say their prayers to the tombs of the brothers who from this light had preceded, that left, there was the dead in other words. Their customary praises to the Lord, they were decanting, they were singing, and look, suddenly there was a light emitted, a heavenly light, as if a great sheet of linen or cloth or something came over all of them. And it struck them with such a stupor that even the song which they were singing was interrupted. They were fearful or something. Autem. Now, moreover, the splendour itself of the emitted light, in comparison, the sun, the midday sun, of it seemed obscure to be seen compared to the sun, but it was darker than the sun at full midday, but not much after. It was elevated, lifted up from this place. Okay, so we've got meridium again. This one means south, to the south of the monastery. This is actually to the west of the oratorium. It separated itself, and there for some time lingered, and it was covering these locations. Thus, to everyone looking, it subducted itself high up to the skies, to the height of the sky. So that there was no doubt to anybody that this light itself, which the souls of these nuns of Christ would be leading, or would take them up into the heavens. And even for the bodies of these, the locations in which they would rest, and where they would wait out for the day of resurrection, it pointed out where it was. The radiation or rays of the light of this light they saw, which extended, which rose or stood out, as a certain senior from the brothers, an elder who in that very hour was in their oratorium with another junior. He was placed there. He was there. He referred that early in the morning that what came in through the cracks of the doors and of the windows, the rays of light which ingressed, they seemed to be brighter, to overcome the shine of diurnal light, so daytime light. So the lights that come in through cracks was brighter than other light. And that's the end of that one. And now 8. There was in the same monastery a boy around 3, not more of age, in name Asker, who on account of his infantileness, he was still of the age, or is accustomed to get his nutriments in the cells or rooms of the virgins dedicated to God, and there he would meditate. He, the aforementioned pestilence, he was touched by. When he was reaching the extreme of his life, he clamovated, shouted out 3 times, one from the consecrated virgins to Christ, with her own name, as if she was present, and he was speaking, eager, whoever she is, and thus he terminated his temporal life, and he entered the eternal life. But that virgin, whom dying he invoked, soon in the place in which she was touched by the same infirmity as himself, who had called out in that day when he was, looks like she's left the light as well. The light was subtracted from the boy as well as the woman, and he who invoked him, she is a female now, she followed him to the celestial realm or kingdom. And you can Google one of these words if you really want to look it up.